Okay, so we are live. Just try and resize these windows a bit so I can see what I'm doing. As soon as we've got people jumping onto our live, I guess we will be good to start. Okay. As soon as one or two people join this live, we shall be good to go. And okay, we have one person join. Just indicate if you can hear me. If you can hear me, click the like button. If you can hear me, click the like button, or just post in the comments so that I know you can hear what I am saying. Okay, so people starting to join now. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we've got a like, so we're good to go. I assume you'll be able to hear me. So my name is Joshua Ncube, and I am currently doing a study on rural Zimbabwe, which is looking at the past, present, and future of rural Zimbabwe. This comes off the backdrop that we've just started a rural development company that's called Ikaya. And the basics of Ikaya is to try and see how we can tap into rural Zimbabwe and see what products or things that we can do that can result in rural communities thriving. And today I'm really excited because every week I'm basically doing a different lecture on different topics. So look at rural Zimbabwe, the study, as being an encyclopedia of knowledge. And so we're currently going through some knowledge that we already have, but as the study goes on, we'll also be unveiling or bringing out some issues that have come up in our study. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is going to be a concept we're very excited about that we've created called the RURAL BnB. Now, RURAL BnB is basically taking the accommodation setup from a rural perspective and being able to present it to the world so that people can actually drive up to a rural. Our objective is for people to be able to just drive into a Zimbabwean rural area and have an amazing experience. So I'm going to take you through the concept because the concept also allows you to understand the business and the business model and how you fit into it and how you can build your own business from what we're doing. So the first thing, let's just justify why we're doing this. The BnB market, which is predominantly dominated by Airbnb at the moment, is a market that's valued at roughly like 87 billion since 2020. And the advantages of this market is basically it's a relatively real experience of a place. The communities benefit. It's cheaper travel with higher sort of experiential returns. So like you get a lot of bang for your buck, essentially. And the tech makes it a lot easier and safer. And I know people are going to ask, what's the difference between Airbnb and what you're doing with RURAL BnB? Well, firstly, what we are doing is we are more like curating rural experiences so that they can service not only the Airbnb market, but also a lot of the products and services we're creating, like our own RURAL BnB app. We want people to be able to travel through Africa, through its rural areas, easily and seamlessly using tech, registering accounts, hosts register their properties. We are in between sort of managing the standards, putting in the algorithms that allow people to get the best out of their experience within rural Africa. So this is not like a Zimbabwean thing, although we'll talk about it as an idea originating in Zimbabwe. So what really pushed us to do this? Now, I talked to a lot of people, traveled extensively around the world through my comedy career and the cooking and so on. And working within marketing, a lot of the people that we're talking to would say that they like certain properties. They have the curiosity about off-grid living. learning about recycling, glamping, coming to Africa to see people singing, and local knowledge, sustainability, projects that give back. They wanted to find out more about African stories, talk about community, stuff that's eating food that's organic, doing group activities, hiking, peace and quiet, fresh air, vegan, dancing, Instagrammable experiences, great in terms of learning language, interactive, and also stuff that they've seen on television. And so we came up with this rural BnB thing because it really sounded like what they wanted was a Zimbabwean rural experience. And so I'll just take you through what the concept is of the rural BnB setup and exactly how it's supposed to work. And then we'll look at each component in terms of how you all fit in terms of your own business units. So firstly, we're targeting basically people that have a round hut, or they're building a round hut, or they know someone with a round hut. That's really our target. So we're looking at the typical thatch with the mud body, and basically what we then do is we then show you how you can put other things within that hut that are more like on a hotel perspective. So it's almost like glamping, right? So you have a rural hut on the outside, but on the inside is dressed up in such a way that your clients are going to enjoy staying with you. So the target of our clients, the two things that really came out: a clean bed and a hot shower. And these are the two things that I think from a rural perspective, we are able to deliver, and they're not the kind of things that are going to break the bank. So once we've targeted that sort of hut, and you have put the stuff within the hut according to the things that we feel that our guests are going to like, we then register you onto our Rural BnB website. Or actually, once we've also developed the app, people are going to be able to book in quite easily. They can just type in the location, the dates they want to check in and check out, and then basically it will show them a list of all the different listings that we have. Okay, so let's talk about your home, right? So what does the exterior look like? We're not really too concerned about the exterior. Basically, we just want it to look like a rural homestead. We're not really looking at you spending a lot of money making the place look a particular way. It must just look like it fits into its rural community. Your standard grass hut. There's different types from different places. So it's great if it echoes or represents what you have in that particular area. So we just basically just want the external to look a particular way. But inside the room, this is where we then believe that you're able to go a little bit crazy on there. We're looking at the soft furnishings in there, like in terms of the bed and so on, for you to be a little bit more creative. Now we've got a number of different templates that we can give you, that we'll show you, but we have a particular look that we're going for, and I'll break it down so that you can understand exactly what we're looking for as a business. In terms of the toilet and shower, a standard outhouse is sufficient. That's built up, one that has a distinct place where people can bath, and a separate place where people can use the toilet. We're recommending that people use stuff like your composting toilets and so on. Composting toilet basically is almost like a bucket system where a person does their stuff, right, and then they cover it with sand. It's got no smell, no flies. The nice thing about the compost that you're then creating, it can be put into another pit and then covered for about a year. Once that has been covered for a year, that compost, all of the pathogens and so on will die from there. The soil can then be used to grow trees and so on. We're looking at this as being the composting initiative as an initiative to grow a lot more trees, a lot more sort of sustainable forests and so on within each community. But we'll go through that in a different lecture. Let's look at the hotel amenities. Now, it's also a good idea to always have amenities as well. In the rooms for your guests. So when your guests check in, put some nice clean towels, some shower gel, some soap and so on, toothbrush, toothpaste and so on. Find clever ways. I would highly suggest going onto Pinterest. Although in the lecture series, we're actually going to be giving people, we formed some WhatsApp groups that are going to be quite a good thriving community to share some ideas on how to make your amenities. It's also a good idea to try and find people within the community who are able to make soaps, people who can make stuff like toothbrushes and so on. Bring your guests into that rural experience and really give them a great hospitality experience. When it comes to the meals, I'm currently writing a book that tries to teach people how to come up with meals for the tourism market. So we basically want you to be able to deliver great, amazing meals that reflect inspiration from your communities. They could be directly traditional meals, but also can be inspired by traditional meals. I'll give you a typical example. So yesterday, just for the purposes of this lecture, what I made was a lentil curry served with rice, and the vegetables were from my garden, but served in a clay plate. What we're saying is that we're not saying that you have to do like traditional meals, but you can do meals that are sort of reflective of some of the ingredients that are there. Now, look at this particular meal that we have. We're talking about lentils here, but this could easily be a mutakura curry that could be made, especially considering there's a huge vegan market out there. This could be something that would be quite popular with the guests. I found out in my village that when a pig gets killed, the pork belly isn't really seen as something that's it's given away to the guys who would have killed the pig and so on. And yet, pork belly is where you get bacon, and pork belly is one of the most amazing cuts from the pig. So it's just having an awareness of knowing the kind of products that you can create. From a drink perspective, we have Zimbabweans that are out there that are creating some amazing products. And we will go into this in a future lecture when I talk about the types of products we're going to be trying to push through this rural network that we're creating. We're looking at stuff like Kumusha wines. We're looking at, there's a friend of mine in America who's making Zenio Ramos, which is an amazing gin that we're currently testing at the moment. There's a Victoria Falls gin. There's so many different products that are being made that you can actually utilize particularly for your guests. So your guests can come and stay in your rural place, but you can have a mini bar and that kind of thing. And we will talk about pricing issues of your rural BnBs as we're doing the individual consultancy with you. One of the things to boost up your rural BnB is to know what kind of activities you want people to do. Now, there's some non-traditional activities that are there, but very popular with people, which are like hiking, for example. So kind of knowing or setting up hiking trails. And it would be very important for you to actually go around, walk around your rural areas and see what things people may actually want to view and see as they walk around your community. There's a big mountain biking fraternity out there in the world. So also speaking with your local headsmen, your sabukus and so on, is to kind of create like a mountain biking trail that goes through a lot of your different villages, and so people have a nice view as they're riding through your villages. Eventually as a business, we will talk about some of those other business aspects that you can make money from once we have a movement from a rural perspective. The reason why I'm speaking to you today is because we want to create this movement of people creating their rural BnBs so that it becomes quite an extensive market. It makes it much easier for me when I go to travel expos and travel around the world to actually talk about the app and then connect everyone to you. So that's where the premise of our business is. One of the other things that people might ask is that, okay, so I don't have any rural homesteads that can look after people, but you can also do glamping. So glamping is where you set up a tent and you can set up a stretcher bed and so on, like the one that I've set up here. And people can stay. So you can do a glamping site pretty much for school trips and so on, and market that. So outside of our rural BnB marketing platform, you are or do have the rights to be able to market the product yourself if you have contacts, in different places to bring people to your particular rural areas. The next thing is picnics. So, rural areas are a great place to have picnics. So if you have a piece of land, rural land that's there, again, join our WhatsApp community. We will be talking a lot about how you can actually set that up as a picnic spot where people can actually come and braai and enjoy themselves in the ambience of the rural areas. Also bearing in mind, we also want a situation where we want to maintain that peace and quiet. So we're not talking about doing parties and loud music, but we're talking more of like a serene, no noise type situation where you can just come with your family in the rural homestead and just sit and enjoy yourself in rural Zimbabwe. When it comes to service, I've done some extensive work doing a lot of trainings. And so one of the things is that what our platform is going to give is like a service training or training resources to people who are setting up their rural BnBs. Obviously, it's a subscription service. We're also going to be trying to crowdfund so that we're able to do the service without having to charge the people who are joining this particular platform. We'll find other ways, whether it's going to be product endorsement or sponsorships, to be able to get information across. However, we are going to be just building up our YouTube channels and passing content through our WhatsApp groups so that you know basics, how to make a bed, cleaning, things to do with how to serve guests, how to serve food, and so on. Some of the work has been outlined in a training manual that I've used in the various restaurant consultancies that I've done. We've trained a lot of young kids who weren't even in the hospitality sector to do some amazing things, learning how to make cocktails, learning how to cook, basically teaching people from scratch. And so this method that we have been doing amongst the number of properties that we've run on consultancy, and whether it's been social media and so on, we have a thriving academy of young people that we continue to train. And so that resource is also going to be available. What we're doing is we're trying to do a sign up for people interested in joining our Rural BnB platform, which is going to be on November 1. And I'll outline to you how that is going to work out. But before that, we're going to be doing a national tour going around the country, just seeing people's different rural homesteads, giving them tips on how they can build up their business. We're basically trying to create an economy or sub-economy from the rural areas that we are building up. And the idea is that once they become economically viable, especially from a domestic tourism market, once the markets open up to internationals, they already know we have a well-curated set of rural villages that are up there. So as I said, the sign-up is going to be for November 1. Basically, what I'm going to be putting in the comments is the links to the WhatsApp groups. There's currently, I think, about 3 or 4 groups that we have created. Quite interesting conversations that we're having with people. Like I said, this study that we're doing is very extensive, and so you must look through the YouTube videos. If you go to the Tourism Ekaya channel on YouTube, the lectures are there. We're uploading them as we actually go. So this was just an overview of the concept of the Rural BnB for those of you who are looking at getting into the business of the Rural BnB. And please join us in the WhatsApp groups for any questions that you might have, that you might want to direct at me. But for now, I just wanted to thank a couple of our partners that we're working with. We're working with Hamara, who are trying to train me in terms of being a Hamara farmer, so that I am also very acutely aware of some of the challenges that people who are in the farming community and so on, especially if you put a different eye on things. Since I'm not in the farming, I'm not in the farming industry, I might have different insights, coming from the outside. Southern African Times, thank you so much for allowing us to host our platform on their website. They are a publication that actually deals with the agenda of African issues for a global world. Love for Africa, great sponsor. This is where we're actually at one of the properties, which is the Zambezi Boutique Hotel. And they've allowed us to do this lecture from here, so that's really great. Love for Africa also going to be our partner in the tour. They're doing quite a lot of amazing things within the space of innovation hubs and working with communities. Fresh in a Box, we always look to Fresh in a Box. They're literally like our think tank in terms of the ideas and sort of pushing the envelope in terms of what is possible out there. From an agriculture perspective, they run an e-commerce platform that allows people to deliver stuff. Masters Paint and Hardware, who have brought us the brand Inco. All of the building stuff that you see us doing is equipment and stuff that we got from Masters Paint and Hardware. So we want to thank them for their continued support. The Zimbo ties, I'm not wearing one today, but they are sponsoring our we're trying to do some rural chic. Just reminds me of my grandfather who used to go to the fields in his jacket and tie. And so we're trying to bring some swag back into Zimbabwe Rural. Liquorama, thank you so much for all of our sundowners, sponsoring our sundowners. So you always see me having a nice little drink at 5 o'clock, thanks to Liquorama. Mr. Sauce, thank you so much for keeping our cooking well juiced up with your guys' sauces. You're pretty awesome. ZBC, we just want to thank as a broadcasting partner who have been playing our content on ZBC, trying to get the word across of what we're doing. And also to the TED community, thank you so much, guys, for your knowledge. Oh my God, like I'm part of a community of just, you know, some of the smartest people on the planet. And so to be able to just ask questions and, you know, bounce back ideas with some of them is pretty amazing. So I want to thank TED specifically for being able to set up such a platform. I want to thank the government. Before I thank the government, I want to thank Cresta Sprayview. Also, Cresta Sprayview offer us their business services lounge so that we are able to do the work that we do when we come into town, because you know, our place is off-grid, but not off-grid enough to be able to do some of the digital work that I need to do. So I want to thank Cresta and their team for being with us there. I want to thank the government. So far, we have been able to get the government sounding board, being able to send messages or WhatsApps and so on, and they've been very encouraging in terms of being able to show us the spaces in which the government is currently looking for solutions. So special thanks to them, to the ministries, particularly the ministers in the particular categories. So the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education. I want to thank the Minister of Environment, Climate Change, Tourism and Hospitality. Want to thank the Ministry of Information and Publicity. Want to thank the Ministry of Education, Sport and Culture. Like to thank the Ministry of ICT, Post and Courier Services. I want to thank the Ministry of Lands, of Agriculture, Lands and Rural Settlement. You know, just being able to get access to the government to sort of ask and bounce back questions and just know what legislation and stuff has been absolutely invaluable. And last but not least, I want to thank Send2, who are basically our partners, really allowing us to, especially not only just their story, but their product, and just trying to figure out exactly how we can build up the Zimbabwean community, especially where they invest back home. And we know Send2 is a money transfer company that also is able to do your groceries, and they can do your ZESA and do your airtime. And this is very invaluable because as you're starting your rural projects, these are some of the products that you're going to need. So again, thank you so much. I'm going to put a link to the groups onto my Facebook page, but also onto this video once it appears on the Facebook page. Again, I'd like to thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Joshua Ncube, and welcome to the future. Welcome to Rural BnB.